Hey, how's it going, guys? Mr. Boss for the win here, and in today's Red Dead Redemption 2 video, we are going to be finding out what happens to Mary Linton's father, Mr. Gillis, after you beat Red Dead Redemption 2. So this is a mystery that I had actually no idea about until I saw a video the other day from a user IndoJ. We'll actually be looking at a video that he posted a little bit later in this video. But this mystery is so cool, and it's something that totally went over my head, and it might have gone over yours as well. So in case you're wondering who Mr. Gillis actually is, well, there's a good number of you guys that might not have ever encountered him, because the only time you ever hear and see him are in two optional missions where you actually help Mary Linton. That occurs in the mission We Loved Once and True and Fatherhood and Other Dreams. Now, you guys know that those missions are both optional to help Mary. And because of that, if you choose to not help her on both occasions, you'll actually miss out on a ton of dialogue where Mr. Gillis is mentioned and where you actually see him. So to give you guys some background, Mr. Gillis is the father of Mary and Jamie, and he disapproved of Mary's once former relationship with Arthur Morgan due to his affiliation with the Vanderlyn gang. And later in the story, he has become verbally abusive towards his children, addicted to alcohol and gambling, and he has started pawning off his family's valuables, likely to pay his own debt. So to give you guys a better idea of who Mr. Gillis is, here are some cutscenes of Jamie, Mary, Arthur talking about Mr. Gillis, and also you'll see some cutscenes in which he's featured in as well. And then I'll show you guys what happens to him in 1907 in the epilogue once you beat Red Dead Redemption 2.
What's he doing? What do you think he's doing?
Well, he's either waiting for a woman of dubious morals, he's trying to sell something.
So, Ashton, you got the money?
Seems he's selling something.
Have you got the brooch, Mr. Gillis?
Yes. Here.
Here's the money. That is beautiful.
It's a family heirloom.
That was Mother's
Family for
brooch.
years.
Not any longer, Mr. Gillis. Enjoy the money, and should you need any more, I can offer you a loan at a very reasonable rate of interest.
No, thank you. I've heard what happens to folks who take loans from you.
It's not even
I've met
his to
100
sell.
men
Oh, it's
like
just
you,
a
Mr.
brooch.
Gillis.
At least he didn't get himself killed.
You don't understand.
Soon enough.
Mother left it to me. You sold my mother's brooch? How could you?
You!
That's theft.
Oh, speaking of thieves, I see you found your outlaw again.
Hello, sir. Have you been well?
Daddy, how could you?
Mary, wait here. I'll go get the brooch.
Don't hurt anyone, Arthur.
Apology accepted. Oh,
My own
wait
daughter.
right there.
I have half a mind to kill you myself.
Daddy.
No.
Oh, Daddy, please, come home. You're tired, Daddy, tired and
I am no
unwell.
such thing. You get away from me. You head home. I insist upon it. Leave me be. Damn nuisance.
Excuse me, partner. What's wrong?
Daddy.
Your father? I'm a bigger fool than I even thought.
I'm begging you, Arthur. I know Daddy was not kind to you, but surely you cannot hate a man for the sin of loving his daughter and wanting better for her than
And me?
the choices you
What
make.
choice did I have? Did I ever have?
Oh, I know. You had to live by your code. But your code is... well, it's not right.
Has your way been right, Mary? With you? And Jamie joining a bunch of crazies? And hypocritical daddy with his drinking and whoring and gambling? Huh? Is that what a pure life has gotten you? Begging me for help?
Oh, Arthur. Will you help me try to save Daddy?
Come along, Dan. Where are we going? What's the old lovable patriarch been up to now?
Oh, Arthur, you know sarcasm is beneath you. He's been gambling and drinking and other things.
Oh, the filthy rotter.
All Father kept telling me was, You won't amount to anything. You're not enough of a man. I had to get away. I couldn't take it anymore.
Forgive me, but your father's a bully and a coward. Don't listen to him.
Hey, don't talk about him like that.
What do you want me to say, Jamie? He's a good father, nice man.
He won't be happy I saw you.
Please send him my worst regards.
So that right there is some background on Mr. Gillis. So you can kind of see the kind of guy he is. He's turned into not so nice of a fellow. And what's interesting is even though he is such a minor character, he has such a significant impact on the Red Dead Redemption 2 story. Because it seems as if he's the only one that prevented Arthur and Mary from getting married. As you guys know, they were engaged. They were fiancé. Mary even has a wedding ring that Arthur gave her. So he's the only one that really stopped it. So if he was a little bit nicer or maybe approved of Arthur, then I think the entire story of Red Dead Redemption 2 would have been different. Either Mary would have joined the gang, and who knows what effect that would have had on the story, or Arthur would have left the gang altogether, and he would have just ran away with his life with Mary. And then we probably wouldn't even be talking about Arthur Morgan because at this point in time, he wouldn't be involved in the Vanderlyn gang. So his story is very significant, even though he doesn't do a whole lot for the missions. He is like the main reason why the storyline of Red Dead Redemption 2, as far as following Arthur Morgan, exists. So after you know all of that, the next time you see Mr. Gillis is actually in a secret cutscene in the credits. So in the credits of the game, you know how it cycles through a bunch of different scenes? Well, there's this one scene where it actually shows a body in the desert. And when I first saw this, I had no idea who this is, but apparently this is Mr. Gillis because the game doesn't actually zoom in on it. You guys can see here that it's just got buzzards that are like picking at the body, and then it flies away. But it never zooms in to see who this is. And when I first saw this, I had just assumed that this was sort of random, I don't know, maybe just to show off the location, but this is actually someone significant. That is Mr. Gillis, and that is Coots Chapel, located just to the southeast of Armadillo. So it looks like Mr. Gillis is no longer alive. Now, what's interesting is if you go to this location in-game, you can actually find his body here. Now, I went here to Cooch Chapel in Armadillo. However, his body was not here for me. So this was kind of strange and a little bit interesting. Now, I have a couple theories why this is the case, because on this current save, I have already beaten the game and I have finished the credits. However, this is not the first time I have gone to Cooch Chapel. I actually explored this area for my cursed armadillo video. So there's a good chance that maybe the body is only there the first time you visit. That's kind of what I'm thinking. However, here's some footage from another YouTuber, IndoJ, who I mentioned at the beginning of this video. He went to this location, Cooch Chapel, and found Mr. Gillis's body. And you guys can see here that it looks exactly like him. His facial features, face structure, he's even wearing same clothing, or at least very similar clothing. So we don't know how old Mr. Gillis is when Arthur is alive in 1899, but we do know that the epilogue takes place 8 years later in 1907. So there's a good chance that he might have died due to his old age. However, the location of where he died is kind of interesting because the only two times we experience Mary and Mr. Gillis would be in Valentine and Saint Denis, which is a long ways away from New Austin. So how did he stumble across New Austin, and how did he get to dying at the feet of Cooch Chapel in Armadillo? Now, what's interesting is if you watched my Armadillo is Cursed video, you would know that something is going on with that town, cholera. So you wonder if Mr. Gillis actually got cursed, if he got the cholera disease and became infected, and he just straight up died in Armadillo. So I think that's probably the bigger mystery here, how Mr. Gillis ultimately died. But that is him, and that's something you might not have known about, that he does die at the end of the game. This is a fate that I did not know about, and that is incredibly weird. But anyways, I'd love to hear from you guys in the comments down below. Let me know what you think happened to Mr. Gillis, why you think he ended up in Armadillo, how do you think he died. Let me know your thoughts, opinions, and more in the comments down below. I'd love to hear from you guys down there. If you did go on to enjoy this video though, a like rating would of course be awesome. And subscribe to my YouTube channel if you are new, or you like daily Red Dead Redemption 2 videos like this. With all the way guys, like I said, thanks so much for watching. Take care, and I'll see you guys in the next video.